Hey everyone, it's Justin from Point of View. We are so glad to be back for the 2024 year version of Point of View. We missed you. We enjoyed our break, but we are so happy to be back and to be in your podcast streams once again. We wanted to give you a heads up. This year is going to be a little bit different. We're going to change some things like we've done every single year. We will still be in your feeds every other week as we have been starting last year. But episodes are going to vary in length. So some weeks we might get episodes that are up to an hour long or more. Other weeks there might be episodes that are only 15 minutes. We still aim to put out quality content, be our authentic selves, and speak from our own point of view. But we're just trying something new. So we hope you still stay with us. We appreciate your support. And we hope you enjoy episode 1 of 2024. No, we're recording.
All right, cool. So, first time back in 2024, though not really. We talked about gay people last night.
It took us about 2 hours to get back into the swing of these things just
yes,
now. I don't know if that's what you wanted to bring up, but
honestly, well, we
worth
can.
mentioning.
Yeah.
I feel like it's worth mentioning.
Yeah, so we booked the Loyola recording studio, which was giving janitorial closet,
yes.
if I'm being quite honest.
We're also in person.
Yes, we are in
name
person.
that.
I
That's
can see
fun.
Justin,
yes.
and he can see me.
Yes.
He's not pointing
and you
to
can
me.
see us.
Yes.
Hi.
Yes, you can see us for the first time. We love this.
We're trying something new.
We're trying something new. It's been
complicated.
something that's been requested since the very beginning. But anyways, we got to the recording studio. We saw that it was basically a closet with 2 tiles of foam. I don't even know what you want to call them. Acoustic foam, whatever.
Yeah, they were soundproofing
foam squares.
Yeah.
So that didn't work, and now here we are. This isn't interesting though to people.
Well, it kind of is. I think it's interesting because it's.
You tell it. Justin's ready to kill me. He's smiling through the rage.
I'm not. We get here we had the room at 11. I don't know. It's not really that great of a story. I don't know. We got here at 11.
Right. I started telling you. I was
up.
like, this isn't.
We're like, okay, it's a janitor's closet with a piano in it and a Mac with audio software. That's not going to really do us any good. Might as well just record in a better space. So now we're in a study room in this library here.
We're in a better place.
And I think it's a good studio
this is
for
nice.
right now.
I like this.
I do think, yeah, I mean, if anyone could look through this door right here and be like, what's happening? And if anyone's in either of these study
with
rooms.
Justin and Nick.
Yeah, we should have hung a sign or something.
We should have.
And then we get everything set up, and then Nick was like, oh, I don't have a cord
to plug my mic into my laptop.
You looked like on the brink. I was annoyed, but I was like, it happens. So I was like trying to not express my annoyance.
I could tell.
I feel like what were you? Were you like pissed or just like?
No, I just started like getting in my head. I was like, oh my god, like I don't want him to be mad at me.
I could tell you're
also,
getting in your
should
head.
I feel more sad about this? But then honestly, so basically, I found the cord once you already got to your apartment. I'm saying he, but once you already got to your apartment, I found the cord here.
Yeah.
We had just left it in the closet.
The janitor closet recording studio.
And I did feel a little bit better because I was like, all right, at least it wasn't my carelessness. I mean, it was. I left it in the closet, but it's a little bit better than leaving it at your house.
It was in the building.
Yeah, granted, we did send you back, but I hope you had a nice ride.
Thanks.
So 2024, we're back. Do you have any, like, what's been going on with you? You're back in school.
I'm back in school. It's weird we're in person because even when we started the show, we were never in person.
I know.
So like
I do
this
find
feels
it weird.
more of an upgrade from previous years
No,
than
it
like
does.
this year because we're doing
does.
video, because we're doing. I mean, who knows? It could be an epic failure. For our 50th episode, we tried to do video and it epically failed.
And we had like
It
one
was
angle over
really
here,
bad.
one angle over here.
And we gestured to
And
it
we
as we did
gestured,
it, and
yeah.
it failed miserably.
It did. It did. I'm trying to honestly forget that the camera's there, but you've been in school. I've been working. I have a couple of work fails to tell you about.
Okay.
That have just been really
At
bad.
the restaurant or at the bank or both? Just
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
Do you want to hear them or do you have?
I would love to hear them. No, go for it.
Cool.
My life is boring.
That's not true. I walked into, let me just first say, we walked into campus ministry, and back then, I was telling Chappie this last night, back then, when I was a student, back then, I would walk into campus ministry, and this was true for all interns. You walk in, and basically everybody all but stands up to greet you. Like, it's like a standing ovation, literally.
Yeah.
Now I walk in 4 years later, so I don't know any of these students. You do know them. They stand up for you, and they're like, "Who's the old guy?"
Who's that?
Like, you know, it reminds me of the scene from the movie No Hard Feelings that Jennifer Lawrence was in, where she was like, she goes to, I don't know, you didn't see the movie.
Is that the one that came out recently where she's like hired to like, not prostitution,
like,
but like sleep? Kind of.
With this couple's son.
Okay,
Anyways, yes. But she goes to a college party, and they're like, "Ew, whose mom is that?" And she's supposed to be like 30, if that, in the movie.
Yeah. You just felt so old.
Yeah,
like,
no, that is
walking in and knowing nobody.
What I feel like.
Yeah.
So I keep having to like drop subtle hints that I've worked there before, like, "Oh, this is new." Like this, is, you know, like
I didn't even notice you were doing that when you walked in. And then Sean was like, "Oh my gosh, hello!" And
and then we saw Charlie, which was really nice to see Charlie. He is like one of the nicest guys.
He's really
truly
nice.
One of the nicest guys that went to Loyola with us.
Yeah. So you're back here. You have some work fails.
Yeah.
This
so what do you
happened
want to hear
since
first?
the last one.
What do you want to hear first?
Well, I don't know the
They're both horrible.
The drama of them.
They're both horrible.
All right, let's do bank then restaurant.
Okay. We just had a snow day recently.
Okay.
We just had a weather closing recently, and I am in charge of putting the message on the website that says the bank will be closed due to inclement weather, etc. So my manager was like, you should probably schedule the message just in case we're closed, because we knew that we were going to be remote.
Yeah.
But we didn't know if the bank branches were going to be closed. That call was going to be made at 6 a.m, much like high school. Do you remember that?
Oh yeah. Loyola makes it at 4 a.m.
Yes. And you know, the higher ups get on a call at 6 a.m. and pretend they're not asleep.
Yeah. I swear Loyola makes the call beforehand, but they're just not going to announce it till 4. So
I'm sure. I'm sure. But apparently Bluestone Bank actually gets up at 6.
College kids can't college.
Right. Bluestone clearly got up at 6, as you will come to find out. But I scheduled the message, but I should have scheduled it for like 7 o'clock, just so like it would pop up, you know, a little bit after the meeting, and I could have taken it down if they said, "Oh, we're going to be open." It went live before they made the call, which sounds like, oh, that's just bad. But imagine the CEO's thoughts and what was going through her head when they're all on the call. And don't worry, they don't have to make the call because Nick Gervasi in marketing decided we were closed today. You know what? Take the day off. And in fact, you can use my PTO because I'm getting fired.
Was there any backlash to that?
No.
Like, did you get...
No. Great. Thankfully...
Yelled at?
No. Thankfully, my manager was the only person that
saw it?
She texted me and she was like,
and
the
other
message is on.
customers that were up at 6.
Potentially. But the good news was we were closed anyways. But you can imagine, right? That
if you were open?
Yeah.
That would suck.
All of like the board, I don't know who wakes up in the morning,
right.
But the board, and it's like, oh, don't worry, Nick Gervasi in marketing.
Right.
He's making the call.
Right.
So yeah, that was that.
That's
those were my work fails.
Those weren't as bad as I thought though. I mean, maybe for you in the moment, but
what about when we were on the phone with our marketing agency, our external partner, and you ever on Zoom and you're just like kind of like you're like sitting there and you're like just like passively listening kind of zoning out. I'm doing that. My mic is on. I'm working from home. It was the same day, and I'm sitting there, and I hear I'm not wearing underwear, and I immediately I'm like
that was on yours?
It was my sister talking to my mom, but. So I'm like furiously pounding the mute button, and
you hit it more than once. It's ineffective. You just gotta hit it once.
I couldn't get to it fast enough. It was really like if you saw my eyes go from this to like, I don't know if you've ever seen like when Joey. Have you seen Friends when Joey finds out Rachel?
Yeah.
Or finds out Ross and not Ross. Excuse me. Chandler and Monica.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
It was that.
It's just like
But it was also like pounding the thing. And then I couldn't get myself off mute, so it looked like I wasn't paying attention. They're like, oh, maybe he had something like that he had to go off for. No. All right, so the restaurant one wasn't bad. It was just cringe because I went up to a table and, like you're busy. So my brain was kind of like ahead of me a little bit or behind me, to be honest, when you hear this story.
Okay.
So I go up to the table and it's this couple. They're pretty young. They're like probably in their early 30s. And their son's really cute. He's like 5 years old. And he was actually really sweet. He was like, do you want to play a game with us? And I was like, what are you playing? And they were playing I Spy. So like he wanted me to sit down with them and like play I Spy as if I wasn't busy. But I was like, oh my gosh, like it was just a moment of like peace for just 20 seconds. I was like, oh my gosh, I feel like I've had you guys before, right? And they were like, yeah, we've had you a couple times. And it was like a really friendly smile. And I was like, you guys wrote that super nice review about me on Facebook, right?
It wasn't.
They were like, no. And I was like,
that would have been good. You're like,
I'm going to go get your server. It was really uncomfortable. Claire heard it. She was right behind me because she works there too.
Yeah.
And she was like, oh no, you should totally write him a review. And they're like, write him a review. And they're like, we're going to now. And I was like, please don't, because it looks like I'm like grubbing for Google reviews. Like, please review me. Please review me. Like, I'm going to get fired if you don't. So it was good.
I mean, speaking of fails, you and I got dinner the other night with some friends in Hamden, which is a neighborhood in Baltimore, and we went to this place called Mona Super Noodle, which was fantastic. Like the food,
my nickname in high school.
The food was wonderful. It was a noodle restaurant. We went with some friends, someone who graduated with me, some people, just like Loyola, like all years. It was kind of fun. I think you knew everyone at the table. You knew everyone at the table, right?
I'm trying to remember who was there, to be honest. I know
Alyssa, Aubrey, Bernie.
Yeah, I knew
everyone. All okay, cool. And me. You knew me.
Yes.
What
a guy.
Oh my gosh. Do you want to tell? No, I'll tell this story. So we were at this restaurant, and it's a noodle restaurant, and
I got the
our
noodles.
waitress, Nick got the noodles. I also got the noodles, and some people got the soup noodles, which I'm surprised I didn't get the soup noodles. But we were at this restaurant, and it was very busy. It was a Thursday night. It was a Thursday night. And
my time clock was all messed up.
I know, because you had trained down all day.
Yeah.
It was packed. And so this waitress she was great. She was just a little flustered. And so she took 2 tables orders for our orders. And she took our orders, and their menus were like, it wasn't a QR code. But let's just say we understand why menus are still
Laminated?
QR codes.
I was going to say laminated.
Well, laminated and still QR codes from the pandemic, because they had the giant menu for like the meals, and then like a little one for specials, and then like a book for like the wine list and the drinks. So she was like, oh, I'll take their menus. She already had 2 sets of menus from the previous tables. We give her all of the laminated ones first, and then the book. And we give her one of the books. It falls, knocks like 2 glasses of water on our friend Alyssa, who yelps.
Fresh off batting practice.
Like literally yelps. Water everywhere. And she goes, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. This is the first time it's happened today.
Yeah, that was the most concerning part. She was like, and she wasn't making a joke. She was like, I'm so sorry. Like, this is the first time
she
this has
never said
happened today.
This never happens. She goes, this is the first
time
this
this happened today.
Yeah.
No, as a server, I was mortified. And like, granted, I am a kind customer. Like, if that had happened to me, if she had dumped it all over me, I still would have tipped 20%. I would have been nice about it.
Sure.
But in her position, if I ever did that to someone, I would be like, and maybe she was more mature than me emotionally, because she did apologize. She brought the rag.
She said, "Let me get a towel."
And then
the towel was like a face cloth. It was just like she poured a lake on top of Alyssa. But
yeah,
was a face
and then
cloth
put a little tissue on it.
Yeah, soak it all up.
Yeah, I wanted her to come on and tell her story herself.
Alyssa.
Yeah, but I would have been like, oh my God, I am so sorry. Like, can I get you anything? Let me go grab a million wipes. I would have made a big deal of it. And it was, I probably would have honestly made it her problem to then be like, it's okay. So like maybe.
And you said you would have comped the meal maybe.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Maybe that reaction is less mature than what the waitress did, I I would have absolutely been like, I just dumped Lake Erie on my customer. Can I?
I think
comp
every
their
time we
meal?
tell this story, we should make the body of water bigger.
Water bigger.
I don't like Erie on top
Yeah,
of your
literally.
friend. And then she brings the food, and as I mentioned, some of our friends got soup noodles, and also known as pho. And she goes to put this giant bowl, like a good sized mixing bowl.
round.
I feel like would be like the size of the food.
Yeah.
And she's placing it down with one hand. You need two hands, like tremoring down. And
Yeah.
again, I'm gonna be sensitive. We don't know if this waitress had any like health problems or anything like that, but just like from our perspective, and our friend who almost got soup noodles dumped on her, just like use two hands. I don't know.
It was very interesting.
And then the night ended with our friend spilling their water on top of it.
Oh yeah, I forgot.
So it ended
I forgot she spilled her own
in
water.
the way
Yeah,
that it began.
yeah, it
So
did.
it
full
was just
circle.
a full circle.
Yeah.
Wonderful dinner. Highly recommend the restaurant.
Yeah, it was really good. I had the beef pad thai.
Yeah.
It was really good.
It was very good.
I liked it a lot.
Yeah.
But I've been in, like, I say this all the time. Coming down here is like home away from home, but it's still refreshing because I
Yeah.
don't come down here a lot. So I feel, welcomed. It's nostalgic. But I've had a really lovely time here. Like,
I'm so glad.
I love staying with you. I got to see Nick and Chappie last night. We went to the movies. It was really fun.
We were literally talking last night about tonight we're going to an alumni event at Loyola,
Yes.
but we're like, do we have to? We don't have to.
Tell
Like,
me about it.
we're
Tell me
both-
about it. I don't drink, so the fact that I'm spending $85 to go and stand with someone that I see in Boston and talk to people that I don't want to, it's like, no, I'm
we
serious.
didn't have
like,
to get tickets. I don't know why we did. We could have just like
because
done other
people
things.
invited us to go, and now at least 4 people that said they were going are not going anymore.
It gave us an excuse for you to come down and to get together, like
And-
down here,
and
but like,
frankly dress up.
and frankly dress up, which
Like,
is always
'cause-
fun.
Yes, yeah,
That's fun.
yeah. I'm wearing a sparkly tie.
Yeah.
I'm excited. Why the hell did my server book make it down to Baltimore?
I don't know.
Like, why is this here?
Speaking of the server book, do you want to talk about what happened at Friendly's?
Oh my god, yes we do. Yes, can we talk about that for a second? This was now a while ago, but
I
we
know.
need to talk about it. I felt like we were in a simulation.
So I'll set the context and you have to
Please
tell the
do.
story. So
Please do.
Nick-
I don't remember the full story, so you're going to have to help me.
we'll help tell it together. Nick and I decide, like, every year we do photos for the new podcast year, and so we did our photos this year at the restaurant that Nick works at, and then we were going to get dinner, ironically not at that restaurant.
Right.
And so we were like looking at the options, and I was like, hey, Friendly's, I haven't gone to Friendly's in a while. A lot of them have closed, so we decided to go there. And Friendly's is known for being not the best in terms of like time you have to wait for a meal, or the best
Well,
like experience at a restaurant,
It's
we'll say.
declined it was a
It's-
kids restaurant to begin with, like very family, but geared
Yes.
towards younger kids.
They've
but-
moved their focus to ice cream, and it shows. Like,
Yeah, well, yeah, and it's also like for elderly people too. Like they go a lot, but like it's declined in popularity, so they don't
Yes.
have as many staff members. Although on this night they had 20. I'm
Yes.
not really sure why.
yeah. So
Um,
we go and we're gonna have dinner, and
Well, my mom had called me the night before, and I was like, I think I was out, and she was like, "We have to tell you about our trip to Friendly's. It was the worst service I've ever had." And she's like telling me about it, and she's like in a comical way, like she's like laughing about it. I'm like, why is she like, okay, but like, why is she calling me while I'm out with my friends to tell me about this?
Right.
This is weird. I'm like, oh, haha, like funny. I get it, and I owe her an apology, and I did go home and tell her because it's not every day. What was the waitress doing?
sweeping a lot.
What was she
And-
not doing?
Attending
Sweeping
to
a
us
lot?
at all.
I was
She
gonna say,
sweeping a lot.
no.
So she was.
Very nice, very
She was
sweet
really,
girl.
really nice. Probably
Sweet girl.
high school, maybe college.
High school or college.
High school or college.
Or maybe
early
not
years
in
of
college. Like you can
Sure.
not go to
maybe
college.
after high school.
Yeah.
She sat us down. We had our menus. Took us about 15 minutes for someone to come over to take our drink order.
I would say so.
Then we got our drinks. Then took about another 15, 20 minutes for us to get our food.
Yeah.
Order.
Meanwhile, she's sweeping.
She's
next
cleaning
to us.
the entire restaurant,
But-
which is empty, by the way, besides maybe 2 other tables
And 16 other employees.
and 16 other employees.
Yeah, no, there were 2 other tables in the entire restaurant.
She's sweeping the next aisle of booths right next to us. Meanwhile, the floor happens to be getting dirtier.
Like
as
that's
she's
the thing.
doing
Like
it.
this
Like,
was.
I
It was.
don't
She looked like
understand.
an animatronic that wasn't. That was. Have you seen the Jordan's Furniture animatronics for Christmas? How it's like
the Christmas
the
village,
little
like
village,
this
yeah.
enchanted village.
Yeah, how it's like sweeping the snow, but it's the broom that isn't actually touching the ground. She must have swept for 25 minutes in the same spot. I kid you not.
There were still crayons there. Like it
Yeah,
wasn't
like, it
even
was
like
bad.
small. Like we're not being nitpicky. Like there
No,
was like
no.
food, French fries, and nothing had gotten any cleaner.
Yeah,
even
right.
though she spent about 45 minutes of our time sweeping that one spot.
Right.
So we place our order.
You ordered soup.
I ordered soup. It never came.
Never came.
We got our meals. They were fine.
They were fine, but I feel like she forgot a bunch of other things, to be honest.
Yeah.
But that's okay, whatever. Again, super sweet girl.
Never checked in. I think I said
Yes, that was the thing. She did not.
I said loudly probably 5 times, "Don't worry, my food is good. Thanks for asking."
Right.
Like,
And you weren't doing
I
it.
wasn't being rude.
You weren't.
We were
You weren't.
laughing through this entire experience.
We-
We
yeah,
weren't
we-
like, oh, annoyed, pissed off. We were just comical. You thought this was a social experiment, didn't
I
you?
really
Genuinely?
did. I would pay for this again. I would pay for this service again. We tipped her 20%.
Yeah.
Like I think we gave her more. But anyways, so your soup never comes. We eat our meal, whatever. We ask for ice cream.
Yes.
I don't get ice cream because it would have killed me.
I got a friend. Did I get a frenzy or no fribble? I got a strawberry fribble. Oh, I go. I'll get a. Can I get a fribble? She goes, sure. And then
Walks
I
away.
go, can I get it to go so that I can like? And she goes, great. Walks away. And then she goes, oh wait, I never asked you what flavor.
Yeah, she wanted what flavor, which is fine. Like that's a silly little thing. Like
Yeah.
that's something that I would have done if I were busy.
But she had no tables.
Right. Yeah,
She just had to get back to her
there are
sweeping.
multiple people in the kitchen.
Yeah.
Dude, that was the weirdest part. Like multiple people in
Did
the
we
kitchen.
say our food took about an hour too?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, it was really weird. The bill comes out. They charged you for the soup you never got.
Yeah.
You say, "Can I take this off the bill?" She goes, "Sure." She goes back to the kitchen, comes back. It's been another like 5 minutes, honestly, and she's like, "Oh, they actually just put it in the window." Meanwhile, this was the appetizer that we ordered beforehand. so-
Probably 45 minutes ago.
Yeah. We already got our entrees and like and our desserts. And she's like, "Do you want it in a to-go container?" And he's like, "Sure, whatever." It must have rubbed off. The stupid of the restaurant must have rubbed off on me
Oh, yeah. I forgot.
because I carry my server book in my little mini backpack. And that's often because at the time I had worked the night before and I had cash, but I didn't have time to deposit the cash or go to an ATM. So I had a bunch of cash. I didn't know, instead of just saying, "Oh, I have cash," I pull out my server book and I go, "Oh, I'm a server too. I worked last night, but I haven't had the chance to go home. So I have my money right here." Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You weren't giving any context. You were just
No.
you just launched into a story she never asked for.
She never asked
You're like,
for it.
"Oh, I
was
worked
like,
last night, so that's why I'm here." Or it's
You
here.
know, I literally said I worked last night, but I haven't had a chance to go home yet.
She didn't
So
care.
this is
She
what
didn't
no.
ask.
I'm like, I'm a server too. She's looking at my SpongeBob server book. That's why we got on this story.
Yes.
Yeah. And so yeah, that was basically it. Oh shoot! So we laugh about it, and then she walks away with the check. Remember?
Yeah.
She walked away
Yeah.
with the check without taking my money.
Yeah.
Like took the check. She was like, "All right, have a good night."
Yep.
We could have walked.
We could
out.
have walked out. She
We
didn't know.
didn't.
Oh my gosh. That was just
yeah.
such a wild experience.
I know. We were cackling when it happened.
Coming up next on Point of View, we put Nick's Tinder profile under the microscope and tune in for a very special guest that you won't want to miss. My name is Justin Dew, and you can reach us at our email, pointofdewpodcast@gmail.com, or on our socials, Instagram, Facebook, Threads, and TikTok at Point of Due Podcast, and Twitter at Point of Due. If you enjoy our show, make sure to follow the podcast and give us a rating or review wherever you get your podcast, or share us with a friend or family member. We really appreciate it and are truly grateful for your support. As always, we hope you have a great 2 weeks. Thank you for listening, and until next time, H.